You know how it is, right? You finally feel like you've caught up with the latest in AI, and then boom, something new just lands.
Absolutely, it moves so fast.
And this week, it's NVIDIA's Llama Nemotron Ultra. Seems like everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, it's definitely making waves.
We've gathered quite a bit here, stuff from AI Today, NVIDIA's own tech docs, plus insights from Apodog AI Base, and they all seem to point towards, well, a pretty significant step up in AI power.
Exactly. It can feel a bit like drinking from a fire hose sometimes, but when you dig into Llama Nemotron Ultra specifically, it really does feel like something important is happening.
So our mission today for this deep dive is to try and unpack that. You know, figure out what makes this model tick, how it compares to the others out there, and maybe what NVIDIA's playing at strategically.
Right. Cut through the noise, get to the essentials, so you, the listener, can get the core knowledge without feeling buried in tech specs. Let's get into it.
Okay, Llama Nemotron. First thing, it's not just one model, is it? I'm seeing Nano, Super, and Ultra mentioned. What's the deal with this family setup?
Yeah, that's key. NVIDIA clearly gets that AI isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. The Nemotron family is designed for different scales, different needs.
Okay.
So think of Nano first. That's the 8 billion parameter one. It's like the agile option, right?
Yeah.
Built for efficiency, maybe on edge devices, even your laptop potentially.
Huh, interesting. So you could run some pretty smart stuff locally.
That's the idea. Real-time decisions, maybe, without needing that constant cloud link.
Yep.
Opens up possibilities.
Got it. So Nano for the lighter tasks. Then there's Super 49 billion parameters. Where's that one aimed?
Super slots into the middle. It's kind of the workhorse for systems with, say, a single powerful GPU. It's a definite step up from Nano and what it can do.
Right.
But you still get decent speed and efficiency. It's probably a sweet spot for a lot of businesses that need more grunt than an edge device, but maybe don't need a whole data center cluster.
Which brings us neatly to the headliner, Ultra. A whopping 253 billion parameters.
Sounds intense. It is. Ultra is really engineered for those top-tier AI agent applications, the kind that need really deep reasoning.
Okay.
And they run on those powerful multi-GPU servers you find in data centers. That's where you can really let that huge parameter count shine, tackle the seriously complex problems.
Now, the name Llama is in there, obviously linking it to Meta's work, but it sounds like NVIDIA's done more than just repackage it. Added their own flavor.
Oh, definitely. That's a really important point. They are building on Meta's Llama Foundation, which is solid, gives it that broad general knowledge base. But NVIDIA's layered quite a bit on top. They've used post-training techniques. One thing mentioned is distillation.
Distillation, how does that work?
Think of it like an expert chef teaching an apprentice the core techniques. The smaller model, the apprentice learns the critical skills from a larger, more complex model, the chef. So it ends up performing surprisingly well, but using fewer resources. And they've also used reinforcement learning. That's more like giving it continuous feedback to fine-tune how it behaves, make it better at following instructions, hitting specific goals.
And all this NVIDIA tweaking seems to have really sharpened its reasoning skills. The sources are stressing excellence in reasoning tasks. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
Yeah, the info points to things like deep scientific analysis, handling advanced math problems, generating and understanding code. And, really important for AI agents, following complex instructions accurately.
Right.
These aren't just pattern matching tasks. They need the AI to really understand context, draw conclusions, produce logical output.
And another spec that just leaps out is the context length. 128,000 tokens. That seems massive. Why is that such a big deal?
It's huge. Imagine trying to read, War and Peace, and remembering what happened in chapter 1 when you're halfway through. A longer context window is like giving the AI a much, much better working memory. It lets the model chew through enormous amounts of text. Think entire research papers, long customer service logs, big code bases, and keep track of it all. Maintain that coherent understanding. That's huge for apps needing nuance from big data or long chats.
I also said something about being able to switch the reasoning on or off. That sounds incredibly practical. How does that work? Why do it?
Yeah, that's a really smart bit of design. Basically, using the system, prompt the initial instructions you give, the AI developers can tell it, okay, engage full reasoning power now, or just do straightforward information retrieval.
Oh, okay.
And the big win there is efficiency. For something complex like diagnosing a tricky tech issue from a log file, you want reasoning on, full power.
Makes sense.
But for just, say, summarizing a short news piece, turn reasoning off. Saves a ton of computing power, which means saving money. It's about using that deep thinking only when you actually need it.
So, being smart about resource use. only firing up the big guns when necessary. That sounds perfect for real-world business use where costs matter. Okay, so we get what makes it powerful. How does it actually perform? Benchmark wins are mentioned.
Right. According to NVIDIA's own technical info, Llama Nemotron Ultra's reasoning performance meets or beats the top open reasoning models, like DeepSeek R1.
Meets or beats. That's a pretty bold claim.
It is. It puts it right up there at the top tier of publicly available models, at least in terms of, let's call it, cognitive ability.
And performance isn't just about smarts, it's speed, too, yeah? The articles talk about considerably higher throughput. What does that mean practically?
Throughput is basically how many answers the AI can crank out in a set time. Higher throughput means it handles more requests faster.
Okay.
So even though Nemotron Ultra might have, similar or maybe even slightly fewer parameters than some rivals, its optimized architecture lets it process more tasks concurrently. That's vital if you need quick responses or need to serve lots of users.
Tool calling also seems like a strength. What exactly is tool calling? What does that let the AI do?
Tool calling is the AI's ability to figure out when it needs help from the outside world. Like if you ask it for today's weather, a good tool calling model knows it needs to ping a weather API to get that info.
Oh, right.
The fact that Ultra keeps excellent tool calling capabilities makes it way more useful for building actual AI agents that need to interact with external systems or data sources.
It's interesting, though. AI Base mentions this Llama 4 Behemoth model, which sounds like it has even more parameters, but Nemotron Ultra is still winning in these tests.
Exactly. It really highlights that raw size isn't the only thing that matters in AI. Smart design, efficient training. They can let a more streamlined model punch above its weight.
So it's not just about being big, it's about being built right.
Precisely. And AI Base specifically notes its strength in deep reasoning and creative output. That suggests it might be getting close to or maybe even matching some top commercial models.
Speaking of commercial models, we see hints about pricing. xAI's Grok 3 API has figures mentioned, dollars per million tokens. And Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro might score higher than Grok, but no price listed there. How might Nemotron Ultra fit in, cost-wise?
Well, we don't have exact pricing for Nemotron Ultra in these sources, but the heavy emphasis on compute efficiency, that reasoning toggle we talked about, it strongly suggests NVIDIA is aiming for a very competitive price-to-performance ratio.
Makes sense. They want people to use it.
Right. By optimizing throughput and letting users manage resource use, they're likely positioning it as a really good value proposition, especially for big enterprise deployments. Plus, building on open source Llama helps keep it accessible.
Okay, powerful, performs well, likely cost-effective. Let's zoom in. This isn't just NVIDIA dropping a cool model, is it? This feels strategic, like a major play in the AI space.
Oh, absolutely. You nailed it. Llama Nemotron, especially Ultra, looks like a key piece in NVIDIA's plan to be a major player not just in selling the hardware for AI, but in providing the AI itself.
The actual intelligence running on their chips.
Exactly. They're aiming to offer deployment-ready AI agents for businesses. It's like moving from selling the picks and shovels during the gold rush to actually selling refined gold.
And that detail about them being post-trained by NVIDIA and distilled from DeepSeek R1, that's a fascinating mix, isn't it? Taking Llama's knowledge, adding DeepSeek's reasoning smarts.
It's a really clever approach. Leverage the strengths already out there in open source, then add your own secret sauce, your expertise to make something even better, specifically tuned for what businesses need. It lets them move faster and offer something really capable right out of the gate.
AI Base also mentions some underlying NVIDIA tech making this possible: neural architecture search, NAS, vertical compression. Can you break those down simply?
Sure. Think of NASS, neural architecture search, like having an AI architect design the AI model's blueprint automatically. It tries out tons of different structures to find the most efficient one, best performance, fewest resources. And vertical compression is another optimization trick. It streamlines how the model does its internal calculations, basically making it run faster and respond quicker. Boosts inference speed, reduces latency.
And the claim that Ultra can run inference, actually use the model on a single server with 8 H100 GPUs, that sounds pretty achievable for businesses.
It's definitely significant. Running inference on a relatively contained setup, like an 8x H100 node, makes it much more flexible to deploy. Companies don't necessarily need absolutely enormous infrastructure to use Ultra's power. It broadens the accessibility.
And going back to the family Nano, Super, Ultra, it really does seem like they're covering all the bases for enterprise AI agent needs.
Precisely. From light tasks on the edge, Right up to the most complex decisions in the data center, there's a Nemotron tier. Businesses can pick the level of power and efficiency that fits their specific application and budget. It makes NVIDIA look like a one-stop shop.
And these aren't just abstract models. They're offered as NVIDIA NIM microservices. What does that mean for actually getting them up and running?
Right, NIM and NVIDIA Inference microservices. Think of them as pre-packaged, optimized containers. They bundle the AI model with all the software needed to run it smoothly.
So plug-and-play AI almost.
Sort of, yeah. It makes it way easier for businesses to integrate Nemotron into their existing systems, cloud, on-prem servers, edge devices. That ease of deployment is a massive plus for companies wanting to adopt AI quickly.
This ties into NVIDIA Nemo too, doesn't it? That seems like the bigger platform for actually building these things.
Exactly right. Nemo is the whole end-to-end platform. It supports the entire AI development lifecycle, prepping data, customizing models, checking performance, doing things like RAG to connect the AI to specific knowledge sources, adding safety guardrails.
Got it.
Nemotron is like a powerful engine you can use within that larger Nemo workshop.
And NVIDIA AI Enterprise, that's the umbrella software platform pulling it all together for businesses.
Yeah, think of AI Enterprise as the streamlined, supported package. It bundles the NEM microservices, the Nemo tools, plus enterprise-grade support, all designed to work together reliably in production. It's the whole commercial offering.
And finally, NVIDIA Blueprints. Sounds like starter kits.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Blueprints are customizable reference apps. They use Nemotron and other NVIDIA tech to give companies a head start on building common AI solutions. Practical examples to speed things up.
Okay, wow. So we've got the power, the performance, the whole strategic ecosystem. How does this actually translate into benefits, into real-world use? Apodog gave some examples.
Yeah, the flexibility of the API, especially delivered via in, opens up a lot. Customer support can handle much more complex problems, do real troubleshooting, education. Imagine AI tutors that can genuinely explain complex topics logically, research, helping analyze data, maybe even draft initial hypotheses.
Software development too, right?
Definitely. Generating code, helping debug, the potential's huge.
Apodog even had that specific example, generating a Python function for a factorial. Seems simple, but it shows that reasoning in action for coding.
Exactly. So it understands the logic needed, not just copying patterns. And again, being able to toggle reasoning on-off is gold here. Optimize resource use, cut compute costs, depending on whether it's generating complex code or just retrieving a simple snippet.
So the takeaway seems to be high accuracy plus compute efficiency equals potential for real performance gains and lower running costs for businesses adopting this.
That's really the core value proposition NVIDIA seems to be pushing. Powerful reasoning, but delivered efficiently and relatively easily, making advanced AI more practical and cost-effective across the board.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. If we boil down everything from this deep dive on Llama Nemotron Ultra, what are the absolute key points?
Okay, first, its power comes from that mixed Llama-based NVIDIA-specific training, the strong reasoning, that massive context window. Second, benchmarks show it's seriously competitive, even potentially beating top open models in reasoning.
Right.
And third, this isn't just a model release, it's a core part of NVIDIA's bigger strategy to provide enterprise-ready AI solutions, packaged up nicely through NIM and the Nemo platform.
And the thread running through it all is really practical business use cases and those tangible performance boosts.
Exactly. This feels very focused on delivering real-world value, helping businesses build smarter, more efficient operations. It's not just tech for tech's sake.
So just as a final thought, having these kinds of powerful yet adaptable AI models become more widely available, it really makes you wonder what comes next, doesn't it? Feels like it could spark a whole new wave of innovation.
That's a great question to leave people with. What new doors does this open? When advanced reasoning becomes easier to deploy, what kinds of problems that seemed too hard before might suddenly become solvable? What new applications will people dream up? It's definitely something we'll be keeping a close eye on.
Absolutely. And for anyone listening who wants to dig even deeper, checking out NVIDIA NIM, Nemo, and the Llama Nemotron API details would be the place to start.